Hey, sweetheart. Daddy wanted to read you a good night story tonight. Daddy's going to read you The Tawny Scrawny Lion. Once there was a tawny, scrawny, hungry lion who never could get enough to eat. He would chase monkeys on Monday, kangaroos on Tuesday, zebras on Wednesday, bears on Thursday, camels on Friday, and on Saturday, of course, elephants. And since he caught everything he ran after, that lion should have been as fat as butter. But he wasn't at all. The more he ate, the scrawnier and hungrier he grew. The other animals didn't feel one bit safe. They stood at a distance and tried to talk things over with the tawny, scrawny lion. "It's all your fault for running away," he grumbled. "If I didn't have to run, run, run for every single bite I got, I'd be as fat as butter and as slick as satin. Then I wouldn't have to eat so much, and you'd last longer." Just then a fat little rabbit came hopping along through the forest and picking berries. All of the big animals looked at him and grinned. "Rabbit," they said. "Oh, you lucky rabbit, you've been appointed to talk things over with the lion." This made the little rabbit feel very proud. "What shall I talk about?" he asked eagerly. "Oh, any old thing," said the big animals. "The important thing is you go right up close." So the fat little rabbit hopped right up to the big hungry lion and counted his ribs. "You look much too scrawny to talk things over," he said. "So how about a supper at my house first?" What do you think he's going to have, Reagan? What are they going to cook? "What's for supper?" asked the lion. The little rabbit said, "Carrot stew." That sounded awful to the lion, but the little rabbit said, "Yes, sir. My 5 fat sisters and my 4 fat brothers are making a big, delicious pot of carrot stew right now." "What are we waiting for?" cried the lion, and he went hopping away with the little rabbit, thinking of 10 fat rabbits and looking as jolly as ever. "Well," grinned the big animals, "that should take care of Tawny Scrawny Lion for today." Before very long, the lion began to wonder if they would ever get to the rabbit's house. First, the fat little rabbit kept stopping to pick berries and mushrooms and all sorts of good-smelling herbs. And when his basket was full, what did he do but flop down on the riverbank? "Wait a bit," he said. "I want to catch a few fish for the stew." That was almost too much for the hungry lion. For a moment, he thought he would have to eat that one little rabbit right then and there. But he kept saying 5 fat sisters and 4 fat brothers over and over again to himself. And at last, the two were on their way again. "Here we are," said the rabbit, hopping around a turn with the lion close behind him. Sure enough, there was the rabbit's house, with a big pot of carrot stew bubbling over on the open fire. And sure enough, there were 9 more fat, merry little rabbits hopping around it. When they saw the fish, they popped them into the stew along with the mushrooms and herbs, and the stew began to smell very good indeed. And when they saw the tawny, scrawny lion, they gave him a big bowl of hot stew, and then they hopped about so busily that really it would have been quite a job for that tired, hungry lion to catch even one of them. So he gobbled up his stew, but the rabbits filled his bowl again, and when he had eaten all that he could hold, they heaped his bowl full of berries. And when the berries were gone, the tawny, scrawny lion wasn't scrawny at all anymore. He felt so good and fat and comfortable that he couldn't even move. "Here's a fine thing," he said to himself. "All those fat little rabbits, and I haven't room inside for even one. and he looked at all those fine fat little rabbits and wished he'd be hungry again. Mind if I stay a while, he said. We wouldn't even hear of your going, said the rabbits, and they plopped themselves down on the lion's lap and began to sing songs. And somehow, even when it was time for good night, that lion wasn't one bit hungry. Home he went through the soft midnight, singing softly to himself. He curled up in his bed, patted his sleek, fat tummy, and smiled. When he woke up in the morning, it was Monday. Time to chase monkeys, said the lion. But he wasn't one bit hungry for monkeys. What he wanted was some more of that tasty carrot stew. So off he went to visit the rabbits, and on Tuesday, he didn't want kangaroos, and on Wednesday, he didn't want zebras. And he wasn't one bit hungry for bears on Thursday, or camels on Friday, or even elephants on Saturday. All the big animals were so surprised and happy they dressed in their best and went to see the little rabbit. Rabbit, they said, oh, you wonderful rabbit, what in the world did you talk to the tawny, scrawny, hungry, terrible lion about? The fat little rabbit jumped in the air and said, oh my goodness, we had such a good time with that nice jolly lion that I guess I forgot to talk about anything at all. And before the big animals could say one word, the tawny lion came skipping up the path. He had a basket full of berries for the fat rabbit sisters, a string of fish for the fat rabbit brothers, and a big bunch of daisies for the fat rabbit himself. I come for supper, he said, shaking his paws all around. And then he sat down in the soft grass, looking fat as butter, slick as satin, and jolly as all get out, all ready for another good big supper of carrot stew. Good night, sweetheart. Love you.